The great Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." Or is that Kelly Clarkson? Either way, both were right. Research is now showing that for people who've undergone severe trauma or adversity in their lives, there's a few different paths they take. Some, end up in a worse position afterwards. But some, after a recovery period, end up in a better position than they were before the trauma or the adversity. And psychologists are calling this post-traumatic growth. And this is being seen in particular in endurance athletes because they go through so much emotional and physical strain. But what's interesting is that they experience this post-traumatic growth not just in the competition or their field that they're competing in. They experience it in all parts of their lives, across the board. They build up an incredible resilience and courage and ability to just keep going no matter how hard things get. There's a writer called Elizabeth Bernstein who's interviewed elite endurance athletes, and she's picked out some of the core key mindsets that they have credited with propelling them to the success that they've got. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. 3 core mindsets that these elite athletes have developed after years and years of intense training. And you can take these mindsets on board and incorporate it into your own lives, into your own goals. If you're new to the channel, I'm Matt. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. You'll get more content on motivational self-help and communication skills. Okay, so the first elite athlete mindset is to take things stroke by stroke. Now, these are the words of an open water swimmer who had this experience one day where they're out in the ocean and this huge storm hits. And he got pushed out so far from shore and he was so exhausted that he thought he wasn't going to make it. He thought he was going to drown out in the ocean. But what helped to get him through this hugely trying moment was a couple of things. The first was that he noticed when he looked at the shore, it really discouraged him because it was so far away. And it felt like he was never going to be able to get there, like he just didn't have the energy to do it. So what he started doing was just focusing only on the next stroke, one stroke at a time. Focusing just on doing that stroke as good as he could. And he stopped looking ahead of himself and instead periodically would look behind. And that actually encouraged him because he saw how far he'd come. That gave him the confidence to keep moving and keep going. So try this approach with any big goals that you have. If you need to go from A to Z, don't put your focus on Z because it might be so far that it feels overwhelming. It feels like you're never going to get there. And that might make you give up or procrastinate or just drag you down mentally. Instead, just focus on going from A to B, from B to C. And if those points are even too far, focus on going from A to A.5 to B. Minimize those steps as small as you need to not feel such a burden by them. And then when you get to step E, F, G, you can look back at A, B, and C and the steps that you've already completed. And that will give you confidence. That will give you the belief, the evidence of your success to help keep you moving forward. The second core elite athlete mindset is to accept the rule of thirds. So what does this mean? This means that whenever you're trying to achieve a big goal, you're going to spend about 1/3 of the time feeling good, 1/3 of the time feeling just okay, and 1/3 of the time feeling bad, or maybe even feeling terrible. But that's where you want to be. If you feel good more than 1/3 of the time, it might be signifying that you're not challenging yourself enough. You're not pushing your limits enough. You're not stepping outside your comfort zone enough to make real progress. If you feel bad more than 1/3 of the time, you might be taking too much on. This can burn you out. It can put too much psychological pressure on you. When it's too hard, we might feel like things just aren't working, like we're not good enough, like we should quit. But knowing that this is normal, you're going to feel negatively about the goal probably about 1/3 of the time. And if that's the case, that's actually where you want to be. There is comfort in knowing that that's normal and that means you are challenging yourself enough to make progress. So what ends up happening is that on the good days, the days when things are going well, that's when you build your confidence. That's when you build up some good experiences. And on the bad days, that's the time that you build up your resilience. You build up your courage. So no matter which of those thirds you're in, there's something you can get from it. And the third elite athlete mindset is to recall your past courage and to trust your future self. So why is this so important? The temptation is to obsess over what might go wrong. The what ifs. What if I make a mistake? What if this doesn't work? This kind of thinking burns up so much of our mental energy. And at the end of the day, it doesn't actually achieve anything. If things don't go to plan, that's okay. Remember times when something went wrong and you handled it and you did it well, and use that as evidence to support the fact that you can trust that future you. You don't need to obsess about all the what ifs, but you can put your faith in yourself that should something come up, in that moment, you can deal with it and you can handle it because you've done it before. And there you have it. Those are 3 core elite athlete mindsets that these endurance athletes have credited with helping propel them towards the success that they have. Try incorporating it into your own goals, and maybe it'll help you achieve more than you ever thought you could. Or at least it might help you get to the goals without putting so much pressure on yourself, without having so much mental anguish attached to it. These mindsets are going to help build up resilience in you. They're going to help build up courage for you to face things, again, not just in that specific goal, but across your whole life. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Hit the like button too, it really helps me out. What to watch next? Well, check out some of the videos on the left-hand side here. There'll be one coming up about active listening skills and how beneficial it can be in multiple parts of your life if you are a good active listener. That's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.